just the profound sense of emptiness and loss that you're left with is just so impactful in almost every single corner of your life, that if we can help more and more families who are faced with that in ways that means that they get through it the other side, and that they can be hopeful again, and that they can be a family that continues to function and find joy, that's an incredibly powerful contribution that we can make. We decided fairly soon after we got married that we wanted to start a family, and then I guess naively our assumption would be that you decide you want to start a family and you start a family, but our experience was different to that, and actually we had 4 consecutive miscarriages before we were able to have our first son. Then we had Zach, who's our second son, who's now 12, and then my wife fell pregnant again with Finn. I got a phone call from the hospital just asking me if I would come in, and I can remember really vividly having this thought of, well, shall I pick the car seat up and put it in the car, because the next time I come home we might be bringing our baby home. I remember it being really quiet, which may be just how I recall it rather than what actually was happening, but there was almost that moment where everybody stops talking and sort of looks at you, and then they told me that Finn unfortunately had passed away. It felt like, within 2 minutes of arriving into the maternity ward, believing that we were in the process of sort of having our third child, actually I was being told that he died, and that Laura, my wife, didn't know, and that I would break the news to her. First thing she wanted to know was, was the baby okay? And then I just had to shake my head and say, no, unfortunately, he's died. We were able to spend some time with Finn, so we were able to sort of give him cuddles for probably 24 hours or so, get some photos. My father-in-law, I remember coming in and talking to me, and he's saying, nothing is as bad as losing a child. This is the worst thing that could happen to you. And just the gravity of it starts to sort of hit you, and the sort of just the cruelty of it and the difficulty of it, it just becomes really powerful and overwhelming, actually. I'd been thinking for a while about just almost the processing of my own guilt, because I think quite naturally when you go through this situation, and particularly just how cruel it had been on Laura, lots of almost your own experience as a father can be directed at making sure your wife is okay and trying to be sort of supportive of their grief, and also, the 2 brothers who are left without the brother they were expecting to have. In terms of, I guess, how then I almost specifically interacted with Sans from a support perspective, actually it was quite an impulsive decision to, I pulled over, looked up the number for Sans, and then called and sort of got through to the sort of helpline and ended up speaking to somebody. And I found that an incredibly valuable experience, actually, just being able to tell my story, have somebody who could listen, who understood, just getting things off my chest and talking about it. Actually, it's that moment where you put the phone down and you feel just a little bit lighter, and you've had the opportunity to do that. What are you going to do going forward? And I was really motivated, actually, to try and give back something in a way that I thought I could, and therefore decided that I would love to offer my services to become a trustee. As luck would have it, when I went onto the Sans website, saw that there were a couple of trustee vacancies at that point in time. Sans does amazing work, actually. One of the things I think that is it still exists is that there is a lack of understanding, actually, about just how many people either directly or indirectly are affected by loss during pregnancy or just after birth. And actually, I think raising awareness and just understanding just the size and scale and the impactfulness of these issues, I think, is really powerful. And then for colleagues who are affected both indirectly or directly, I think that the support that Sans can offer to corporate organisations to educate, inform and support their colleague base through those moments is incredibly valuable. The other thing that I've seen Sans make real progress on and be very conscious of in my period of time as a trustee is just how it thinks about how do we make sure that Sans is a charity which is available to and accessed by a much more diverse group of society. Some of the strategies that are being put in place are really starting to sort of show the right level of change in terms of making sure it is available and inclusive for everybody. The progress the charity's made is even more stellar. So collectively, anybody involved in SAND should be incredibly proud of the pathway that it's on, and I certainly am. So I think that's a really important part of my SAND story over the last couple of years.